Good night, everyone, and welcome to another episode of It Takes a Village. My name is Anika, and I am a pre and postnatal massage therapist with Anew Wellness Massage and Bodyworks. And welcome to another episode tonight. Um, we will be talking all about pain management. I am tailoring all the lives for November to pain management and how best we can manage our pain in pregnancy, labor, and birth. And tonight we have a very interesting guest, um, at least in my opinion. He is a clinical psychologist, he's a life coach, and he is a hypnotherapist. So I feel like we have quite a lot to unpack tonight, and he is going to be talking to us all about the ways that hypnotherapy can improve our birthing outcomes. So I'm just going to wait a few more seconds for a couple more people to join. Good night to everybody who's joining. Good night to those of you who will watch the replay. And I am really looking forward to a very interesting and insightful conversation tonight. All right, let's see. All right. So Krisnan, I'm going to get you on right now. All right. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
How are you?
I am doing well.
You're doing well.
How are you doing?
Very good. I'm doing okay. Today was a good day. So I'm really excited for this conversation tonight. So good night to everybody who's joining. I invite all of you to please ask Krisnan any questions that you may have about his work. You can either put them in the chat or put them in the question box, and either myself or Krisnan will be sure to answer those questions for you. And can I just say, I would have told you this already, but I'm going to say it again. I manifested this life for at least a year because I did not know that you existed. I did not know that this was a thing. I heard about hypnotherapy. I know about hypnobirthing, but I didn't know that it was a service that was offered here. So when I connected with a client last year and she mentioned this and how it was such a transformative experience, I was like, I didn't know that we were doing this here. So then, everything aligned as it should, and now here we are today. So Krisnan, I would love it if you could give the audience just a brief introduction about yourself and let us know, what inspired you to enter the hypnotherapy space.
All right. So I started a personal development journey, and part of it was career path. And one of the things that I was very, very interested in was helping people to overcome trauma. And I was following someone who used to work with people who overcome trauma, who used to overcome trauma, who would overcome trauma with hypnotherapy, basically going into the subconscious mind and tapping into some of their memories and some of their traumas. And that is the first thing that attracted me to hypno. Well, not the first thing, but one of the most significant things that attracted me to hypnotherapy. And I decided to start studying it. I've been studying it for about 3 or 4 months before I actually did my certification. But interestingly, my very first client was a guest at a very large scale hotel. And at that point, it was just, I was learning informally. And after we did those sessions, which had some success, I decided I needed to get certified. So I did that. I studied overseas in US, and here I am. Hypnotherapy primarily, or initially for trauma, but then I realized there were so many other benefits.
All right, I love that. And you're also a clinical psychologist as well, right?
Well, I've done my master's in clinical psychology. So in the process of getting all of that stuff sorted. And so I do therapy. I do coaching and certified life coach and a mental skills coach as well.
Okay. So a lot to unpack. All right. So obviously, my first question is, what the hell is hypnobirthing? So
Okay.
take it away.
So hypnobirthing is using
Mhm.
hypnosis or
Okay.
hypnotherapy for
Mhm.
your birthing experience.
Okay.
Now, that word actually has been patented, but the idea is so hypnobirthing is actually a brand, but the idea is
Okay.
using hypnosis for your birth, for labor and childbirth is something that's been used for many years,
Mhm.
and it is about taking the mind to a place where
Mhm.
your mind, you're conditioning your mind and conditioning your body to be more
Mhm.
relaxed for starters. When
Mhm.
you're more relaxed, when you're in this relaxed state, you actually have the ability to tell your body what to do, and it responds more effectively. So we can
Mhm.
actually, the process of hypnotherapy is about relaxation fundamentally,
Mhm.
but then we
Mhm.
can tell the mind in that relaxed state what we want it to do. We tell it to turn down, turn off pain,
Mhm.
to encourage or stimulate numbness or
Mhm.
even other emotions like bliss, um,
Mhm.
euphoria.
Mhm.
There is also a program called Birthing with Bliss. So, or
Okay.
blissful birthing, where people
Mhm.
actually say that they have wonderful
Orgasmic birth.
experiences, orgasmic birthing, yeah.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Um,
Yeah.
and they actually have wonderful experiences. So the,
Mhm.
the stimuli or the sensations of the stimuli for the discomfort actually
Mhm.
turn into or transform into blissful feelings. So they actually feel like euphoria and they feel
Mhm.
some cases orgasmic. Is quite
Mhm.
interesting.
Okay. It sounds interesting.
Mm,
So I would love it also if you could break down some misconceptions of hypnobirthing, because I feel like when people hear hypnosis, they
mm.
think of a clock, and, so it goes kind of left. So if you could break down some of the misconceptions of hypnobirthing as well, that would be great.
Yeah, so first of all, people think there are a couple common misconceptions. They feel that you're losing consciousness, you're going unconscious.
Hmm.
Some people
Hmm.
feel that you're going to be in a state where you can't control yourself, so you tell all your secrets. You feel like you're literally going to be losing control, whatever that means.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're not going to know what's going on, and you're not going to be able to choose or control yourself. So
Okay.
you, the individual in the state of hypnosis, knows what's happening at the time. They are conscious and voluntarily responding. If a
Okay.
person goes unconscious, which is AKA sleeping, they can't
Hmm.
respond voluntarily. They're not going to be able to respond voluntarily. So that goes
Right.
against the process of hypnosis. Now, if there might be processes like, let's say, if you wanted to do surgery, which people can do with hypnosis, um,
Hmm.
you actually can fall asleep. That would be probably a better situation for falling asleep. But if you want to do a dynamic active process where you
Hmm.
want to be engaging with the practitioner or with the activity that's going on, you really
Hmm.
can't be unconscious or you can't be asleep.
Right.
Because you're there and you're making decisions voluntarily,
Hmm.
you're not doing things, you're not losing control.
Hmm.
Um, you aren't going to be able to tell secrets. I wish I could tell my clients. I'd say this in some of my initial sessions. I say I'd like you to give me. No, I don't say in hypnosis, but I tell them
Hmm.
I'd like you to give me your bank account information and tell me all the secrets of your life. But unfortunately,
Hmm.
they shake their head and say not a chance. So some people think like you're gonna be barking like a dog and clucking like a chicken because that's some of the things that you see on TV, um, misrepresentations you see. And I tell them, well, listen, if you want bark like a dog, I gotta ask you to do it now before we get started. And I tell them, bark, bark. And some people go, roof, or they cluck like a chicken. And they say, look, you can do it. You don't even need to be hypnotized to do it. So it's
Right.
that's that simple. You're not going to be doing things making a fool of yourself. What we see in
Yeah.
stage shows is
Yeah.
they always do a screening process. So they're
Hmm.
screening for the most responsive people, and they're
Hmm.
also screening for the ones who are willing to go on stage.
Hmm.
You'll never see a
Okay.
hit stage show where people are doing it against their will. As a
Okay.
matter of fact, people who are up there against their will don't participate. They don't do the suggestions and they don't respond.
Mm-hmm.
So that is important to know that you're not going to be you're not going to be losing control, you're not going to be unconscious,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be doing
Mm-hmm.
things against your will, and you're not going to be telling out secrets.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so good night to everybody who's joining. I'm here with Krisnan Hurdle. He is a clinical psychologist and hypnotherapist, and we are talking about the benefits of hypnobirthing and how it can improve your pain management experience when you go to deliver your baby. So, my next question for you, what would you say are some of the main benefits to incorporating hypnobirthing into your prenatal journey? Give me
All
three
right.
benefits.
All right. So there's a greater sense of being cared for,
Uh-huh.
reduce anxiety, and greater
Mm-hmm.
control of your emotions.
Yeah.
Everyone stack a few of them there. Reduce
Mm-hmm.
anxiety,
Yeah.
greater focus and control of your
Yeah.
emotions.
Great.
And then there's faster healing and recovery afterwards.
Okay.
And if I could give a fourth, then
Yeah.
research among my colleagues overseas, research
Mm-hmm.
suggests that labor and the birthing process is shorter with when you're more
Mm-hmm.
relaxed, when you're able to control the tension that people tend to hold on to during the birthing process.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How would you describe a typical session with you? Because I found it really interesting. But you go ahead. You tell us what a typical session with you is like.
All right, so typical session. I share, we talk about what the goals are. That's the first thing.
Mhm.
The client
Yeah.
shares what their goals are.
Mhm.
So I won't be doing anything out of alignment with those goals.
Great.
If it is a first session, obviously get some context for why they're there and what
Hmm.
we talk about their misconceptions, their fears, very, very important,
Hmm.
their fears.
Yeah.
And we try to get that out of the way, try to to resolve them or at least to put them aside.
Hmm.
Then we might go into a few practice sessions, a few run-throughs of the hypnosis process, what that's like,
Yeah. Hmm.
and then we start working on the specific process. So the thing about hypnosis is that it is just a tool, it's just a state of mind.
Hmm.
It is a natural state of mind. And
Hmm.
is what you do when you're in hypnosis that makes the difference. That's where the therapy comes in. So
Okay.
you can't just have a person in hypnosis and tell them exactly what they're going to do and it just changes like that. There are different
Hmm.
processes. One is alleviating fears. Another might be going back in the past and looking at their traumas and trying to deal with some of those traumas. And then
Hmm.
the process of transforming the issue,
Hmm.
whether it is pain management or whether it is
Hmm.
some kind of anxiety or
Hmm.
some kind of stress that they have going on in their life, or even mental focus, being able to focus to perform at their peak levels.
Right.
So we do when in the state, once we get to the state of hypnosis, we've practiced a few times, we get to the state of hypnosis, then we start the
Hmm.
therapy part of it, what they're
Right.
there to achieve.
Okay.
And then
All
we do a
right. Sounds
debrief
good.
afterwards. So then we talk about how the experience was.
Okay. Do you incorporate partners into the therapy sessions?
Absolutely, especially with hypnobirthing, with
Yeah.
Easy Breezy Childbirth, that's my brand.
Yes.
Easy Breezy Childbirth, we recommend and encourage partners to be there. So this might
Hmm.
be the mother's father of the child, or if not,
Hmm.
someone who is close to them who they'd like to be there on the day of birth because we
Hmm.
like them to know what they can do to remind the
Hmm.
mother of what she needs to be doing or focusing on when
Right.
she's everything is a busy time, everything is happening around her. She needs to be able to
Hmm.
focus, at least to
Yeah.
center herself, so that person can remind her how to breathe. Although breathing is an important part, it's not Lamaze, so that's not the primary part of it actually.
Right.
It's really about relaxation and focusing your mind on what you want it to achieve.
Hmm. So you would say that it is less about, because I don't want people to get the idea that this will stop you from experiencing pain. I feel
Mm.
like it is less about stopping you from experiencing pain because let's face it, pain is a part of life and pain is a part of of birth. So what I'm gathering from you is that it's more about learning how to manage that pain as opposed to letting the pain and the fear of that pain consume you. Right? So
Well,
I
yeah,
stop that.
the
Yeah?
gold standard is
Hmm.
that's fairly accurate. You're very, very close.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
typically, yes, but the gold
Right.
standard is to have no pain. So persons
Before. Okay.
who are well conditioned and prepared, they can
Okay.
actually achieve the state of the medical state of analgesia.
Hmm.
Analgesia is
Hmm.
like when you go to the dentist and you feel like there's pressure on the dentist has applied the Novocaine. You can feel like there's
Hmm.
pressure. You can feel that something is happening, depending on the
Okay.
intensity of the touch. But there's
Hmm.
actually no discomfort, and that's the gold standard that we want to achieve.
Okay.
However, even if we are not able to fully get there, we then
Hmm.
want to be able to learn how to manage the pain. So relaxation and taking the
Hmm.
mind to places which allows the mind to send healing and relaxing energy to the place where they are
Hmm.
in a state of relief and release. I use those words so often in my sessions: relief and release.
Yes.
So with that, they can incorporate the breathing. They can
Hmm.
incorporate maybe stretching or moving slightly so they can feel what's going on, but it is not a concern. It does not bother them as much as it would in regular waking awareness.
Okay. All right. So my next question, well, it's less of a question.
Mhm.
I want us to discuss a little bit. Oh, before I answer this, if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask Krisnan, feel free to put them either in the chat or in the question box, and we will be sure to answer those to the best of our ability. So moving on smartly, I want us to discuss a little bit about the importance of dismantling this concept that birth A has to be painful and B has to be feared. Because I feel like that is something that comes up a lot with my clients. Is like, it's gonna be real painful. Like I don't know what to do. Like I don't know how I can manage the pain. Like I afraid. Like I hear that a lot. So what would you say to clients who may be experiencing those thoughts?
Well, some of these thoughts, first of all, understanding where these thoughts come from.
Yeah.
First, they might come from other mothers who've had the experiences. So they said, I thought it was ready, and when I went in, it was so difficult. Not that they did very much preparation, if any at all, but I thought it was ready, and I thought I could manage pain, and then this superseded my pain thresholds. Some person
Mm-hmm.
might come up to you and say, or um, another one is the Bible says that give birth in we should give birth with pain. So it should travail, it should be effortful, it should be difficult. So people
Mm-hmm.
take that statement and they say, well, birth needs to be painful. The Bible says that birth is supposed to be painful.
Mm-hmm.
So my question, how I usually respond to that, I say, how much, how painful should it be? Is it that
Mm-hmm.
it should be like the most excruciating experience you can ever imagine? Is that how it's supposed to be? Is that what that's saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is it that it's saying that there can be some discomfort, but not terribly? How much
Mm-hmm.
pain should any woman go through? So I look at those and I said, so what can you achieve? What is possible to be achieved? And then we do when we run through the exercises, we look at their pain thresholds, and we look at lowering their pain thresholds. So if they're able
Okay.
to see that they can actually turn down discomfort, and we use
Mm-hmm.
the words discomfort in sessions rather than pain. If you can turn down discomfort, and you
Mm-hmm.
realize you can actually do something about the the sensations that you feel in labor and in childbirth.
Okay.
And we talk about the contractions are, what purpose
Mm-hmm.
they serve.
Yes.
We talk about the other stages, crowning and pushing,
Mm-hmm.
and we let them know that it does not have to be what they've experienced before, because I've had some mothers who would have had who would have given birth before, and they
Mm-hmm.
experienced significant improvements compared to their first deliveries and first births.
Yeah.
I've also had some first-time mothers who said, including some of your clients, who said that it way exceeded what they thought it was going to be. They thought it was going to be terrible. They thought they were
Yeah.
going to be literally unable to cope at all. And
Yeah.
they said, well, they've been able to cope in a way that they're surprised at their ability. So some people feel a certain level of discomfort, but then they're able
Mhm.
to manage it. Other people actually feel sig- minimal discomfort. Many people feel
Okay.
minimal discomfort, and that's what we want to work with. That's what we
Mhm.
want to achieve.
Yeah, because one of my clients, I think this would be the first person that I would have heard um about you from. She was walking me through like a session of how it went. She said that what happened is I think you had her husband like pinch her,
Mhm.
so like as hard as you could pinch her, and then she would feel it. And then as time went on, he would keep doing it, and then the pain like got less and less and less. And I thought it was really interesting.
Mhm.
She said that it was to the point where she literally didn't even know that he was doing this to her, but she was able to like just go within to her subconscious and just, for lack of better words, just zen out. Like, so I thought that was really, really interesting. It really just emphasizes how strong our minds are.
Yeah, how powerful
It,
the mind
it
is.
really does. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
then
I
we
thought that
can,
was really, really cool.
yeah, then we can transfer the sensation or the lack of sensation to different parts of the body. So we can
Okay.
actually achieve a general sense of calmness or numbness or lack of sensation. But if
Mm-hmm.
we have it, let's say, intensify, more intense or more, um, we get in that state more in the hands. We want to
Mm-hmm.
achieve it in the hands. We can transfer
Mm-hmm.
it from the hands to other places. So we can transfer it to the inner thighs, to the
Okay.
stomach, to the
Mm-hmm.
ribs, etc.
Okay. That's interesting. All
So
right.
people actually
So,
have surgeries
okay.
with
Pardon?
people actually have surgeries in hypnosis with hypnosis without any anesthesia or with a reduction in their surgeries online. You can go on YouTube and search them. Um, yeah, people have surgery. There's a whole association in there associations in Europe. Um, Hypnodontics. So you're looking at using hypnosis in dental, with dentists being trained in hypnosis to condition their patients to reduce pain and reduce anxiety
Mhm.
if you have phobias.
That's very interesting. I should ask my dentist about it. I feel like she's here watching this live right now. So
Well,
I ask her if that
wonderful.
is possible. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see if that's something that we could do. All right. Um, so finally, I really appreciate you, coming on. Please tell us how people can connect with you, especially for your childbirth program. I think that would be really interesting. So just let people know how they can reach you, they can connect with you, etc.
All right, so they can find me on Instagram, Insight
Mm-hmm.
Consulting Caribbean on Instagram,
All
Insight
right.
Consulting Caribbean. I'm also on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
as Insight Consulting Barbados. Or you
Mm-hmm.
can email me at insightconsultingbb at
Mm-hmm.
gmail.com.
Okay.
Insight Consulting BB for Barbados at
Mm-hmm.
gmail.com. And I have the Easy Breezy Childbirth program. I have a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a couple spaces left. I was trying to close registration in October, but I do have
Okay.
a couple spaces left to complete the sample that we want to achieve. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
if anybody watches this and they'd like to get involved in that, because there's a significant reduction in the cost of the program if you join the pilot. And
Okay.
what that basically is that we want to build a mass of cases of mothers
Okay.
who have used this program to see how
Mm-hmm.
it works for them.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we can present a case to medical practitioners for how effective this is. Um,
Oh, okay.
Uh, we would have done similarly, which is kind of a different conversation, but we did
That's
similarly
cool.
with something we call hypno-orgasm. So we had a sample of persons who were able to reach
Mm-hmm.
orgasm without touch, just with their mind.
Okay.
And that pilot went very successfully. So I like
Okay.
to do similarly with the hypnobirthing or the easy breezy childbirth program.
All right. Okay. All right, thank you so much for that. Krisnan, it really was a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge, for breaking down, hypnobirthing and how best it can benefit moms who are, journeying that journey and who may be, feeling a bit scared and, all the other emotions that come up with pregnancy.
Hmm.
So with that being said, I will see you guys next week, Monday. Next week, Monday is going to be the final live for the year. Um, and I'm really excited for that. We're going to be continuing the conversation surrounding pain management. Sorry. So have a good night, everybody, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.